Rain, can you hear me?
Not hearing it, Tiana.
Can you maybe post?
Ese. All right, so welcome guys to another session of an Afternoon the Scientist program. Hope you guys are hearing me clearly. All right, so we're going to begin now. Just want to welcome persons on our Zoom online platform and also on our YouTube channel who are joining us today. I do hope that you guys will enjoy today's program. All right, so before we start, just a couple of rules. So no personal conversation in the chat section, both on YouTube and the Zoom platform. Questions, you'll be able to ask questions at the end of the presentation, and please do not unmute your mics unless you're told to do so. All right, so in the chat and also on YouTube, I would like persons to just, type in the chat and let us know where you're joining us from, your school or your organization, and also to leave your contact information in the chat below so that we can contact you if we're having any other program. At the end of today's session, I'm going to send each person an evaluation form for them to fill out, and then can just email it back to us. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to ask Miss Tiona. Tiona, are you ready?
Hi, Karine.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask Tiona to, get us in the groove before we head into the presentation. All right, Tiona, you can go ahead.
Karine. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another session of an afternoon with the scientists. So before we get into the presentation, we're going to have a little fun by trying to solve a word search puzzle. All right, so Carrie, I'm going to ask you to give me feedback as I'm unable to see what's in the chat. Okay, so in order to solve the puzzle, you're going to type your answer in the chat by stating the column or row for the word. So for example, number 1 is octopus. So if octopus is in column 1, I will say C1. Or if it's in row 2, I'll say R2. And we have around 5 minutes to solve this puzzle.
Okay, Tiona, sorry. I was saying that Eartha found the octopus and it's column 2, row 2 for octopus.
2.
Yeah.
Right.
And Elizabeth found crab. It's column 14.
Right, that's correct. Keep it going, guys. We have 8 more to go.
Okay, biodiversity, Elizabeth, column 1.
That's correct.
Eartha coal, lobster, row 3.
Great, starting from
Eartha again, ocean, row 4.
Correct.
Elizabeth Sea Turtle, row 13.
Correct. So, all right, 4 more to go.
Okay, algae. Okay, I found algae in row 1.
All right. All right, guys, keep it going. All right, just 3 more to go.
Okay, I found the stingray, and it's row 12, all the way up to row 5, column 2.
All right. Repeat again, Carly.
Stingray,
Mm-hmm.
row 12,
Right.
up to row 5 in column 2.
Okay, perfect. And final one, that's coral reef.
Okay, jellyfish, Elizabeth jellyfish, row 3.
Correct.
Cool.
So we have coral reef.
Row 12, Eartha said row 12 for coral reef.
That's correct. And we are right on time. Thanks, guys, for participating.
Okay, thanks, Fiona. Enjoy that. That was a good start off for today. So, okay, now, so we're going to introduce our speaker for today. And he is Captain Ryan Carruther. He's a marine captain, marine biologist, and scuba diver from St. Andrew, Jamaica. He currently lives in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He fell in love with boats when he was a kid, and boating went on to provide him with countless wonderful experiences until it became his career. He wants to provide a platform for kids to experience boating in all its forms. His hope is that it can fill their hearts with minds and wonders, excitement and joy in the way that it has done for him. So I want to welcome Mr. or rather Captain Carruther, and thank him for joining us today. So I'm going to ask Fiona again. So it's a pre-recorded video. So I want to ask Fiona to share the screen, her screen with us. Sorry. Not sure why I'm baffling today.
Right,
Fiona,
no
you can
problem,
go
Terry.
ahead.
Morning, everyone. I'm Captain Rayan Carruthers, and this is my wheelhouse. I'm the captain of a marine research vessel in Monterey, California, and I'm going to give you a bit of a tour and tell you a little bit about what I do, and hopefully it'll be a good time. Okay, all right. So the research vessel that I captain, we were part of a team that covers over 10,000 square miles of water that we try to protect and study, and we have several different teams that are dedicated to studying different aspects of the ocean, whether it be the physical aspects of the ocean, like the currents and the water temperature and the way the water is moving through the bay and along the coastline, or the chemical aspects of it. We also study the animals themselves too, the biological aspects of it. And some of the animals that we study are several different types of cetaceans, which are whales and dolphins. We study humpback whales, we study gray whales, we study blue whales, we study fin whales, all these different types of whales. And we also have teams that, not so much as the whales, but we study other things like sea lions as well, which you'll probably see and hear at some point because there's just so many of them. So the wonderful thing about the ocean is that everything is incredibly interconnected, and that gives us an opportunity to see how one small aspect can affect a really broad range of subjects and animals. One of the things that we study here is sound, and how sound travels through the water, and how the sound is affecting animals, particularly whales and dolphins, which are particularly sensitive to how sound moves through the water, because they use sound as a big part of their communication through the water, and they also use sound to navigate through the oceans. So we have to make sure that all the different human activities don't affect the animals too much, and how we make sure of that is by studying it. And I'm going to show you a hydrophone, which is a really cool piece of equipment that we have here on the boat that we use to keep track and record lots of different type of sound data, and that's pretty cool too. One of the things that we also study is the kelp, which is a big part of the marine ecosystem here. It's very similar to what you'd think of a forest on land, and the kelp grows from the ocean floor, from the sea floor here, and up to the surface. And when you're going through it, swimming through it, it's like swimming through an underwater forest. But what it does ecologically is provide the foundation for a wide range of animals to grow, to feed, to seek shelter, and just to live their entire lives right there in that kelp. But the kelp is also very sensitive to certain things like the temperature of the water. It's sensitive to different chemicals in the water as well. That's another thing that we try to keep track of, is just how the water is changing over time and how it's affecting the kelp. Another thing that affects kelp too is the presence of sea urchins. There are particular types of urchin. Most notable is the purple urchin that eats what we call the holdfast of the kelp, which is pretty much similar to the root of a tree. And if there are too many urchin, they'll be eating too much of the kelp, and what that causes is a decrease in the amount of kelp that is available for all the animals to live in and to feed off of and seek shelter. So it has an effect down the ecological chain, and so we have lots of teams actually that are dedicated to trying to make sure that the kelp itself stays in good shape. Another thing that we do here on this vessel is there are many buoys out at sea, and the buoys are pretty much floating devices on which you can attach all kinds of equipment, and we have equipment on there that some of the equipment we can beam the data into the satellites, and it comes back to us through our computers. And then there are other pieces of data that we have to go out there and retrieve them and collect the data from the hard drive and change out the batteries and things like that. So that's really, really cool. One of the things that we do a lot is we'll take buoys, set them up here on land, go and deploy them out at sea using our A-frame, and you'll probably see the A-frame at some point too. And then we'll deploy it with the A-frame, and we'll at a very specific location using GPS coordinates, and then we'll leave it there for a specified amount of time, and then we'll come back and retrieve it. And how we retrieve it is we'll send over a hydrophone and or some other type of release device, and we'll send a signal to the buoy, and the buoy will pick up the signal, and it will release the lock on the buoy. It's designed to float, so when you release the locking mechanism, it goes up to the surface, and then you look out for it, and then it pops up at the surface, and everyone says, "Hurrah! There it is!" And we'll go retrieve it with the A-frame. We'll switch out the hard drive that has all the data on it, change out the batteries, and then there's a good chance that on that day we'll put a new hard drive on and clean it up a little bit, and then put some new weights on it, and then redeploy it with our A-frame too. That's always a whole lot of fun. Pretty much everything we do out there is fun. Another thing that we do is we monitor the presence of great white sharks in the bay, and there are a lot of them. Luckily in this area, the sharks that we get in this area aren't the fully grown ones like you'll get say like further north where we study at like the Farallon Islands or down by Santa Barbara Island a little bit further south. This is a nice big bay, and it's a good spot for a lot of sub-adult great white sharks to kind of like live and grow and hone their skills. We do get killer whales in here a lot, which is a whole lot of fun too. So we get Reefs dolphin, which feed on the squid out here, which it's not all year round, but when the squid show up, it's always a lot of fun to see the Reefs dolphin coming in. So there's so many different types of animals, and they're all interconnected, and what we have to do as scientists is make sure that human activities aren't affecting individual species too much to the point where it's affecting all the other parts of the ecosystem that kind of keep a nice balance, and that will keep it sustainable and keep it going. So this is an ROV, one of the ROVs that we use. That's a remote operated vehicle, and we can send it down. We can control it like flight, almost like a plane, but beneath the surface. And it's attached to thousands and thousands of meters of that yellow cable, so we can go down very, very far to get video and photos of all kinds of creatures that you don't usually see because they're so far beneath the surface, and you need special machinery to find them. They're really cool. Even squid sometime will pop up and play around with the ROV. So it's a whole lot of fun to do research that way. Yeah. Okay, so let's show you around. Yeah, let's show you around. So here we are in one of the engine rooms, have the batteries and inverters that power most of our systems, fuel filters, that's the transmission for the engine, hydraulic oil case, and that is the main diesel engine control panel that gives all of our systems power. And this is a really cool engine room. It's very spacious. I can move around in there. Another control panel for the ignition to start the engine up if I have to do it from down here. Oil filter, communications, and oh yes, that's a sea strainer. It pulls water from the sea to use it to cool down the engine. That's very, very, very important to keep this engine nice and cool. That is a massive fire extinguisher that can go off automatically, or I can control it from the wheelhouse. That is a fan that we use to keep the engine room nice and ventilated, and we can close that off to little board to keep track of maintenance, and the camera that we have. We have cameras all around. Yeah, one of our navigation systems that I use, that is Monterey Bay, and all those lines are have different purposes. We use them to track our research, track where we've been, tell us where to go. That's the United States, and that is Jamaica, where I'm from and where you guys are. And back over to Monterey Bay, and yeah, that's Monterey Bay. And that's that screened with the deck cameras of the upper deck and the stern deck, all the different controls and navigation screens, or radio. We have the PA and the electrical components that keep track of all the data. Sonar to let me know how deep the water is beneath me. The radar, which let me know what's around me. The AIS, which communicates with other ships, and the GPS, the global positioning system, and that is part of the navigation system. And these are the engine controls, which you press the green button and they do a little bit of a pre-start check. Those are my throttles and part of the steering system, and that is just a nice little display to tell me what's going on, and a globe that my daughter made for me. There she is. So yeah, I come in here, and once I've done all the checks down below, I can start the engine up and get the engine all nice and warmed up. You press the green button, you hold it down for a couple of seconds, and then it will get going, and then you do it on the other side. And then what I'll do next is I'll always go and make sure that water is flowing out of the exhaust, which is very important because that's part of what keeps the whole engine cool. And if there isn't water flowing out of there, then we have a problem. I'll have to turn the engine off and go figure it all out. Those are my boots. And on the other side, you'll do that. There you go. And we are back. Yeah, mission plans, because there's always missions. And yeah, there's my helm and a fake bird that we try to use to keep all the other birds away, but that doesn't always work. Our anchor and the controls for the anchor, and yeah, there it is. So how I started doing this is I've always been really interested in the ocean ever since I was a kid, and luckily I got a lot of opportunities to explore the ocean and go out on boats and have a good time. And I studied marine biology and environmental biology in school, in university, and then I started working as a biologist, and learning more about the environment, learning how everything affects it, everything affects the other. And then I got an opportunity to be a captain, and I took it, and because I've always wanted to spend a lot of time on at sea, which is an amazing thing for me. I'm extremely lucky and I'm extremely grateful. But one thing that I can say to anyone interested in studying the ocean is try to be very informed on as many different topics as you can. All the different ocean activities, whether it be recreational ocean activities, commercial ocean activities like fishing, industrial ocean activities like mining and shipping and things like that. Because everything plays a role in how in the impacts that we have on the ocean. So the more you can learn about all the different types, um, the better you will be at being able to make good decisions, and better you will be at being able to study and have a positive impact on the ocean and all of the ocean ecologies that are out there. The marine ecosystem here in Monterey, California, where I live, is quite different from the marine ecosystem in Jamaica, where I'm from, where you guys are. And but the cool thing is that it's all based on the idea that lots of moving parts are kind of working together to keep a larger system going, and that's exactly how it is on the coral reefs in Jamaica and in the mangroves as well. They all play a role in making sure that the other part is getting what it needs to keep going. It's all very lovely, and I'd encourage all of you kids to learn about the mangroves there, and to learn how they play a role in maintaining both the coral reefs, that are surrounding the island, and the beaches as well. It's all really wonderful information and a lot of fun to learn. And once you go out there and start snorkeling and diving and all of that cool stuff, you'll start to see how everything works together, and it's really wonderful. So thank you for joining me. I hope you had a really good time. I always enjoy talking about the ocean, and go out there and learn. There's so much to learn, and it's always a whole lot of fun. All right, peace and love. Bye.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Carruther, for that wonderful presentation. I enjoyed it and I learned a few things in the process. So, Mr. Carruther, are you here with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, you're here. You're perfect. All right, so guys, if you have any question, you are free to type them in the chat, or you can unmute your mic and feel free to ask any question right now. All right, so I have a question, Mr. Carruther. On your, I think on your Instagram, it stated that you have a program going on. I'm not sure if it's going on right now, but it's for kids, giving kids opportunity to do tours, boat tours, and go to sea and all of those fun stuff. So during Corona now, are you still doing that program? And also, you said in your presentation that you're not based here, you're not living here anymore. So how would does Jamaican students have the opportunity to be involved in that program?
Yeah, we were able to pull one trip off um, during the pandemic, but it calls all the measures and everything else, and we're hoping to do a couple more trips this year around Emancipation Weekend. But yeah, COVID has definitely put a big wrench in the whole works, but we're trying to get around it and still make it happen. Yeah, I live in California, but the program operates in Jamaica, mostly out of Port Royal, and we're trying to get more trips out of other parts of the island. We're working on getting one out of Portland this year, and we're gonna keep working on all the different corners of the island, so all the kids can get their trips in without having to find their way to Kingston. So the whole idea of the program is to give kids access to ocean experiences and time at sea. A big part of the reason why I am who I am today. I had a lot of opportunities as a kid to go out on boats, different kinds of boats. And I know that most kids in Jamaica aren't going to have that opportunity. So what the whole organization is trying to do is to give that opportunity to kids and make it free. make it free so that every child can have a chance at it.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? First is from our YouTube channel. If you have any questions, you're free to ask, and we'll respond. And also for Zoom.
Hi, Karine. There's a student asking, how does the engine work?
Well, the engine, this particular type of engine is called a diesel engine, and it's a little bit different from a gasoline engine, but what it does, it works pretty much the same way your car engine works. It will take the fuel, in this case, diesel, and it will light it, and it pretty much just cause explosions inside of the engine. But what you do is you take that power from the explosion and you put it into a transmission, just like your car. And then what the only difference is, instead of going to wheels, our transmission is connected to a shaft. On the end of that shaft, it's a propeller, which kind of just looks like your standard house fan, like a standing fan. It looks very much like a standing fan, but it's massive, made of metal, and it's on the end of a big stick sticking out of the back of the boat, really. And then that spins and it pushes us forward through, and it's pretty much the boating version of what a wheel is.
Okay, thank you for that response. Any other questions from our YouTube?
Not seen anymore as yet, but I have a question. Do you ever get the opportunity to say, like, to rescue an animal while at sea?
Yeah, that unfortunately there are times where we need to do that, and the ones you'll see more often than not are animals like turtles or whales that will get caught in trash that just floating around the ocean, and they maybe didn't see it in time to get out of the way. The whales are very susceptible to it, because of a lot of it has to do with their body shape. They have the fins sticking off, and sometimes those fins will get caught in what is more often than not abandoned fishing nets. Abandoned fishing nets are a big culprit. So what we try to do, on top of actually going out and rescuing the whale and doing a disentanglement drill, we'll actually try to get the fishermen to try to do better about how they deal with their fishing nets whenever they're done using them, because it's causing a big problem. But yeah, there are times where we have to do rescues. Not terribly often, but it does happen.
Yeah, that's it, Tiana.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if there's no more question for Captain Carruther, guess we'll just wrap up. Okay, so I know you're very busy, and I really appreciate you taking the time, because I know you're at sea right now, but you took the time to be with us.
It's that's us right now.
Okay.
I don't know if you can actually see it.
Yes, we're seeing it.
Yep.
All right. So before you go, what I want to follow up from the question that I asked earlier. If students want to participate in your program, what should they do?
Okay, the best way you can check out the website. It's ofejamaica.org. OFE as in Oceans for Everyone. ofejamaica.org. On Instagram, we're at Oceans for Everyone Inc., like INC for Incorporated. And you can search it on Facebook as well. And if you want to get in contact with me, just contact me through one of those platforms. I'm usually pretty good about seeing those messages. And then the best way to get onto a trip is to kind of monitor the, what you call it? Facebook pages and the Instagram page. I only announce trips when I'm sure I'm going to be able to pull one off, because I don't want to disappoint anyone. So once I announce the trips, some trips are open, some trips are closed, but if it's an open trip, I'll announce it, and then you just let me know that you want your child to, whoa, the boat's rocking. Want your child to get on the trip, and we'll put them down until all the spaces are filled.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for that response. And persons can view the website in the chat area for both
Yes.
YouTube and Zoom. So, and remember, you can view him on Instagram at Oceans Forever. Sorry, Oceans for Everyone, INC. Okay. All right. So,
Yeah.
Karine,
repeat.
there's
Yes, go ahead.
one last question from those joining on YouTube.
Mhm.
And it's from Zariel. He's asking, have you ever seen a blue whale before?
Yeah, I've definitely seen the boat is rocking. A few blue whales. I've been lucky enough to see several blue whales, too many to count. So I'm pretty lucky. But the whale we see more often than not are humpback whales. There are so many of them. I've seen at least 3 just today on the way out to where we're working right now. So yeah, we get to see whales from time to time. Not as many blue whales, but they're bigger than the boat that I'm on right now. Some of them anyway. So that's pretty nice.
Okay, thank you very much. Any more questions before we go? Thank you guys for joining. Persons who are just joining us, thank you for joining. Okay, before I wrap up, I would like to do a shout out to Smith's Academy joining us from Trinidad on our YouTube page channel, and also Rosewell Primary. Thank you guys for joining us. We do appreciate you guys for always taking the time out to be a part of the session. And also I want to thank the Natural History Museum of Jamaica team for joining us. And my technical team, thank you guys very much. Always been on point and ready for each session. All right, so Captain Carruther, thank you very much for making the time to be with us today. We enjoyed your video, and I know that person will still have questions, but you're free to join us on the YouTube channel. If you want to watch over the video, you can go ahead and watch it on our YouTube channel at Natural History Museum of Jamaica. And you can still post your questions there, and then we will try our best to respond to you guys. Okay? So thank you, Junior Center, for joining us, also East Street Junior Center. All right, so thank you guys very much, and I do hope you guys have a wonderful rest of day. Okay?
Thanks for having me.
No problem.